on Periscope. I am live on Facebook. I am live on YouTube. How's everyone doing? Just adjusting things to make sure we are looking good. Chiefs gotta look good, guys. We gotta be in tip-top shape for a real conversation, because you know how I do. I like to have real conversations late at night because I think that that's truly delectable. And also because you guys are thinking it anyway, so we might as well talk about it. And gotta be real. Gotta be real. So tonight's conversation is going to be, it's entitled "Life is More Than a Hashtag." And so if you have an inclination as to what I'm talking about, it's definitely about kind of balancing our lives IRL versus online, right? And what we're doing to make sure that there's a distinction, and what we're doing to make sure that there's satisfaction and joy in both arenas. And it can be quite challenging because ultimately, I think sometimes we are doing things for the gram, or we're doing things for the likes, the follows, the shares, right? But it's really important to not necessarily approach life that way, so that you can ultimately be more fulfilled along the journey for a longer time. So that's really what tonight's going to be all about. We're a little bit early because I wanted to get on. Today was a little bit of a drain, like energy wise for me. So I'm not feeling tip top shape. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting riled up by a real conversation. So definitely feel free to put in your questions, your comments, your thoughts. It gives me life, and Lord knows I could use it right now. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna hammer through the ill feelings right now, but that's okay. It's definitely a part of life. And as many of you may know, for those who follow me in the Dressing Room 8 platform, talking about illness and vulnerability is something that I don't necessarily love to do, but it's important because I know that there's a lot of other people who probably aren't feeling well in this moment right now, right? Thank you for the hearts on Periscope. I feel you. Thank you. Very, very nice. So a couple of minutes, what can you do? What will I do? I'll definitely be sharing this out. So what I ask of you is to make sure that you're doing the same. So let me go on here and share it out that we are live. And we are live where? I am live on Periscope. I am live on Facebook. I am live on YouTube. Woohoo! Exciting stuff, guys. And I'm liking, do you guys see the lip gloss situation happening right now? Loving it. I got this like, what's the name? It's like from the dollar store. Like I keep it real. And so it's like lips, I think it's lip gloss, like a matte lip gloss that I got like a pack from Amazon. And then I found this like glossy, nourishing lip gloss from the dollar store. And and they have like they have like a red one that you've seen me in. They have like a pink one and then a lighter pink one. But once you layer it over whatever you're wearing as your like foundational lip wear, bomb. Like I'm liking this. This is fantastic, guys. If you like it, give me some hearts, give me some likes, all of that good jazz. Bomb, bomb, bomb. Very, very fun. So we're almost there, just a couple of minutes. And if you're like also interested in talking more beauty, I do my monthly Birchbox experience video. So if you are interested in that, definitely check it out. If you're following me here on Facebook, on Periscope, on YouTube, you guys should go to dressingroom8.com, and then you can check out all my videos that I have archived in the YouTube channel. And then as well as you'll see them on Twitter and on Facebook. But YouTube's really great because it's all organized, right? And it's a really good place to see your girl at. So definitely make sure you do that. Okay, what is happening with the phone on Periscope? Very weird. Okay. That was weird, guys. What was that about? Okay, that's okay. Let me get my notes together so we're all set. And if anyone has any additional questions before we get started, you have to wait now because it's time. But of course, as we get started and as we go through the conversation, please put them in the comments on Facebook, on Periscope, on YouTube. I am paying attention. Please do. So who am I, right? Welcome to the next Dressing Room 8 live stream with me, Natasha Nurse. I am a speaker. I'm a coach. I'm the content creator behind Dressing Room 8. And it's been a wonderful journey over 4 years, essentially creating content and changing minds and changing hearts to really focus on the female perspective on how to really win in your life and in your career. And I think it really comes down to three main things, which is to think with clarity, to dress with confidence, to live with purpose. So if you can do those things, it's win, win, win. And if you're about that, then you're going to be about the Dress Real Mate conversations that we have. And so what do you need to do as we're having this conversation about life is more than a hashtag? I would love for you to put your honest thoughts and comments and questions in the comment section here on Periscope, on Facebook, on YouTube. Like I told you earlier, your girl's a little tired. So, you know, it's rough. So when I do these things and you guys kind of collaborate and join in with me, it really just gives me life. It just like makes me come alive because I do love to chat, as you know. So please do, please put your thoughts and questions in the comments, and let's get started. So first of all, why did I want to have this conversation about why should we talk about life beyond being more than a hashtag? Well, as a content creator, what's something, and whether that means you're a blogger, a vlogger, you do television, you're a journalist, you like whatever kind of content you're creating, either personally or professionally or both, what is it easy for us to do and get caught up in? It's easy to kind of get caught up in the vortex that the internet and social media is. And what do I mean by that? So I mean, essentially putting things out because we're looking to get the most likes, we're looking to get the most follows, the most shares, the most subscriptions, right? Subscribe to the blog, subscribe to this, right? We also are we're looking for business opportunities, networking opportunities, making money, right? Creating passive income, ... May I go on, right? And I think that those are all very vital and important things for sure. But is there a life beyond the vortex of social media, beyond the vortex of the internet? Absolutely. And I think that we have to constantly remind ourselves that, because it's easy to get sucked in and then not come out. And then also, what is it also easy to do? Not be present in our actual lives with the people who matter most to us. And whether that is people being creature like your dog, your cat, or a partner or a friend or a lover or whatever, right? At the end of the day, we have to be able to be there for the people that matter most to us. And like I said, that includes creatures too. All right. And so what's a girl to do? If you're a girl watching, cool. If you're a boy watching, what's a guy to do? I think it really comes down to these 6 really simple steps. So bear with me. Let's go through each one. And as I go through them, again, if you have questions, holler at me on Periscope, on Facebook, on YouTube. I'm here. All right. So first, the obvious. The internet exists in the real world, right? But there's a world outside of the internet. And so if you're struggling with the vortex, right, like always being plugged in, which is I myself, I really like it's a challenge to not wake up and the first thing be to get on the phone. Like what I'm doing is I'm usually thinking about my gratitude as I'm jumping on the phone and checking analytics and checking the social media, checking the email. But what's another thing that we could do to wake up? We could wake up, if you're like me and you sleep with your husband or your partner, you could, give your partner a kiss on the cheek. You could tell them why they mean to you, why you love them for today, what your intentions are for today. You could turn to your pooch if you have a dog like me who's going to have his face right in your face once they know you're awake. You could kiss on your dog, and you can get your dog riled up for a beautiful, wonderful morning walk, right? You could start the day today. I started the day reading, and I really did like put a really wonderful kind of relaxing vibe for the day, right? So it started because usually I'm very like on edge in the sense of like I'm high energy, and so I'm really excited to produce and to execute and right? But again, you have to also have different modes, right? You have to exist in different states of existence. And so it was nice to kind of start more chill. It was nice to start the day and just like feed my creative juices, right? I'm currently reading the Harry Potter series amongst many books. So getting through that and finishing that out and committing to that goal that I want to finish these books, right? So I think that we have to remember that, yes, the internet's important. Yes, we're all plugged in, Matrix all the way, but it's in the real world. So what do we do? If we're struggling with detaching, put your phone, put it in a cabinet, walk away, go on a walk without it, right? Or, put on alarm and say, you can't touch your phone until this alarm goes off. Find ways and mechanisms to detach and remember the world that you're really living in, right? IRL, always more important than the internet. The internet's amazing. It's the foundation of so much success and so much prosperity for so many people in so many different ways. But we also have other things that we need to do in IRL, right? So that's step number one. If you have questions, thoughts, debate me on that, put it in the comments. Number two, I was talking about reading. One of the best ways I find to like detach from the internet and to like live beyond social media, it's actually open. Guess what, guys? A real book. Like you can't, I don't know if you can see, but in my office, I have two giant bookcases filled with real books. Like I know the trees, I know. But what we can also do is then read on a Kindle, right? And again, set a rule or set a timer that says you won't like depart from reading on your Kindle to go browse Amazon or the internet or something like that, right? But ultimately, if you have old books or if you have a membership to your library, take out a book. Even if you already own the book on Kindle, take it out from the library and really get back to that basic of like sitting by the fire, reading a book, pre-internet, pre-Google, right? Pre-Facebook kind of era, and really just like enjoying the beauty of reading and the beauty of not being plugged in because there's a cost to always being in that vortex and never taking time out, because you get sucked up and you sometimes you start to feel like you're over it. You're like, because I see when people are like, I have to take these social media breaks. I feel like they're saying that because they're not plugging out enough. If you're too plugged in consistently all day, every day for how many years, of course you're going to feel like peace out. It's been real. Or every time you get the opportunity to go on a vacation, you don't want to document anything. You don't want to, you're overly attached. You're overly plugged in. So these are mechanisms and tips that you can do to plug out just for a short while and give you IRL experience that you need and you deserve. All right. So that's tip number two. Tip number three, health first. It's a mantra for all. I don't care if you're thin. I don't care if you're plus size. I don't care abled, not differently abled, whatever status of presentation you have for your body, health first. I've learned this the hard way by rejecting the care of my own body and my own mental sanity. I think ultimately, I've paid the cost, right? I think my body has reacted poorly with things. Sometimes I've had to I've been, if anyone knows my story, in a previous life of mine, I went to law school. I'm a lawyer, New York lawyer. I don't practice. I just, have the accreditation. And there were several nights of like 1-2 hour sleeps going to class, right? And when we have to accomplish, when we have to work like a workhorse, you absolutely can do it. You can do anything you put your mind to, right? But there's a cost, and it's usually your health. And the problem with that cost is what? Like time, you can't always, you never get time back, but with your health, you can't always recover sometimes, right? Sometimes you do permanent damage to things. If you drink something that causes you to be energized, and then, you have a heart attack, or you have some type of long-term effects from things. So health first is a mantra that we all can apply. And it's a really good way to plug out of the vortex of social media, because what can you do? You can do things that require you to be in a field without a phone, without social media, right? Plugged out so that you can focus on the mantra that applies to each and every one of us. Health first. Because I was taught as a child, and I always poo-hooed it. Now I totally understand what my parents were saying to me, which is, without health, you have nothing. And it's true. Without health, you have nothing. Without health, you cannot run or start an empire. Without health, you cannot become a famous actress. Without health, you cannot write that novel. There are things and goals in your life that you absolutely can't accomplish if health isn't first. So health first. Like, if you take anything away from this conversation, totally take that away, okay? Next, put in your calendar, actually, if you live by your calendar like I do, don't ever ask me what I'm doing on a Friday. I have to look at my Google Calendar. I couldn't tell you. But put in your, if you live by your calendar, then you'll love this. Book time for self-discovery, for hobbies. Why do I say this? I've talked about this, I think, multiple times in different types of programming that I've done, which is the idea of me time is something that is absolutely achievable every single day, if not every single week, if not every single month, if you literally schedule it in. So for some people, right, you'd be like, well, what do you mean by that? Well, literally, what are 10 things that you wanted to do this year? Have you done any of them? Have you done one of them? If not, the year's not over yet, guys. We still have time. So if you say, for instance, I'll give you a goal that I want to do, and it's a it's a stretch goal because I don't know if I'm physically up for it, but I want to push myself for it because it's something that I've been dying to do. And what is that? You're like, what's the suspense? What's the suspense, Tasha? Rock climbing. I want indoor rock climbing, indoors. Not ready to wrangle with the nature quite yet in that way in Arizona. But I want to see if I can get up and pull myself up, right? And kind of do that little bit. And I don't know if I'm up for it. I don't know if I physically can do it. But the reason why I haven't done it yet, right, is I haven't prioritized that in my calendar, right? So I've had it as kind of a loose stretch goal. But if I absolutely marked it in red and said, okay, October, 30th, I'm going, right? Like, put it in the calendar, commit to it, give yourself enough time before and after so there's no excuses. I say this because I also fault in overbooking and underestimating how long things take. So you have to really think about it. If it's a hour training session, give yourself 30 minutes to get there, or 40 minutes, however it's going to get there for you to get there. 40 minutes after, maybe you want to, I don't know, go to dinner with your spouse or recover, whatever. Give yourself the allotted time and don't overextend, right? So do it once a month. If you say once a week is too much for you and your current schedule and needs and obligations, fine. Once a month, you're going to have self-discovery. You're going to have me time, right? Something that you want to do, that you deserve to do, that you do not need to ask permission from anyone to do. Your life isn't a frickin' democracy. Go and frickin' live it and do it and think about how it made you feel. And thank you, Sarah, for the hearts on Periscope. How lovely. Love it. And frickin' do it, man. Like, just do it, right? The Nike phrase, you can take that to your grave. Hello, I'm Matthew, I think. Yes, on Periscope. Just frickin' do it. Just do it. Okay. So book time in your calendar. Let's all agree that we can do one day, like one time in a day per month. Just that's your me time, and no one can disrupt it unless someone is dying and you actually have to be there. I don't want to be callous, but I'm just saying. Then go, and that's your me time. Turn off your phone. Nope. I'm not listening. I'm not, right. And just do it. And then take time and reflect. And that's actually going to be something else I'm going to talk about a little bit later. So I'll revisit that. The next tip I have, and this is something that I've learned as creating content and being in the vortex, and then what happens? You post things, and you obviously, you put time and energy and effort to create things. And if you're like me, you like to be a little creative. You like to be a little artistic in what you create. And what happens if you only get a couple of likes, or you don't get the amount of impressions you thought you were going to get? And what happens to some people? Their world falls apart, right? Because they're too tapped in, and they're not seeing the bigger picture. They're not living beyond the vortex of social media. And I want you to say this and to think about the phrase I'm about to say. Do your best and leave the rest with the universe. That's something that I've said earlier this year, and I'm going to stick with it. Do your best and leave the rest with the universe. You can only do your best in life, right? And if you don't know what your best is, then that's cool, because that's what learning and evolution is all about. You'll learn to be a better speaker. You'll learn to be a better content creator. You'll learn to be a better writer, ... You'll learn to be better in your career. And as you do, your best will change, right? So maybe your best right now is a 4 out of 10. Cool. In 2 years, it might be a 7 out of 10, right? Like, life is all about learning and evolution. But do the best that you can do right now and leave the rest with the universe. And I say this because if you're creating content and you're getting frustrated if people aren't responding in the way that you want them to respond, people are maybe not giving you what you're looking for, why you put this stuff out, then ask your audience, connect, learn how to amend the social media conversation that you're trying to have. But at the end of the day, as long as you did your best, you can't ask for anything else out of yourself, and your best will change. All right. So if you agree with that, then what does it do? It creates less anxiety when we have to post stuff. It creates less anxiety when we don't necessarily see things land the way that we want it to land. Because guess what? Not everything you do is going to be a bat out of the park, and that's okay, because there's a lesson that has to be learned there, right? Whenever things aren't going as planned, then there's a lesson, and we have to look for that lesson. And so maybe it's, oh, you need to learn how to spell things better. Maybe you need to learn how to color correct things better. Maybe you need to learn how to edit things better. Maybe you need to learn how to articulate better. Maybe you need to learn how to get better equipment to better deliver the message, right? There's a lot of things that you can enhance in. That's fine. That's totally fine. But just do the best you can along the way and leave the rest with the universe. So if you can do that, you're winning. You're like, Tasha, we're good. We're straight. And that's awesome. All right. And then the last tip before I have just a couple of other action items to think about is, and I try to do this, and it's challenging because we live in a world that forces you to that forces you to think about the idea of like, if something's good, it's only good if someone else says it. Right. And so even me, like, I absolutely will tap into my husband and be like, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? And is his opinion important? Absolutely. It's paramount to me. But if I think something is cool and he doesn't, am I going to go with his opinion or am I going to go with my opinion? I have to go with my opinion, right? You owe it to yourself to hold your opinion in highest regard. And you have to see how it plays out for you, because otherwise what will happen? You will hold other people's opinion higher than yours. And if you don't get the outcome that you want, then what do? You always have that option to blame people and say, well, I went with your decision and look how it went down this way. I know a couple of people in my universe that like to behave that way. And it's frustrating. It's very frustrating to hear them, the word, and moan because they refuse to hold their opinion in highest regard. Hold yourself out to do what the hell you want to do in this life. That way, there's no victimization happening. You weren't the passenger seat of your life. At the end of the day, do what you need and do what you want. And then if it doesn't work out, it's, who to look to in the mirror. You know who you're looking at, guys, right? You say, hey, chief. And then you have that conversation, right? But this nonsense of, well, I did what Jane told me and I did what Alex told me, and now look what happened. You did. Like, look at the sentence. You still did it. You've got to hold yourself accountable. So do what you want. Prioritize your opinion. If you think this rocks and you have counsel and you've spoken to people, mentors, people, coaches who can give you advice, because obviously you want to do what you want within the realm of legality and within the realm of, honesty and transparency and like all of that, the good stuff, right? That makes the world a better place. But as long as you've checked off those boxes and you're like, I'm going to do it, right? And you're not intentionally trying to hurt people. You're not intentionally putting negativity out in the world. And if that's your thing, let me know in the comments. Let's see how that's going for you. Some people are super successful being super negative. I don't believe in that. That's not my faith practice. That's not who I am. And that's not what I want to do in this world. I think life is too short to actively be a naysayer, to actively destroy dreams and tear other people down. But I know other people really revel in that behavior and they really thrive and they have millions of subscribers and millions of followers. And you'd be like, wow, that's so crazy. We're all hardwired for negativity. So it makes sense. It definitely makes sense, but you don't have to be that person, right? So just think about it. And if you have thoughts and you're like, well, Tasha, put it in the comments, let me know. But I find it to be so more freeing when I decide to do what I want instead of going with what other people said and then getting frustrated with myself because I'm like, oh, I knew I should have. Nope, you did it. Now hold yourself accountable and do the damn thing. Do what you want to do. And that's it, right? You did your best, you leave the rest with the universe. So now some tips to make these 6 kind of points actionable in your life today, right? Because at the key about, I have found as a coach working with people is that you can give people the best advice all day, every day. But if people don't implement, then what happens? It's in one and it's out the other, right? And that's unfortunate because we all took time to have this conversation. You gave me your time to tune in. I gave you my time to do this, right? Time has been spent, energy has been spent, and we really want to make sure it's the most meaningful and it's the most actionable information for you. So number one thing to take away from this is your calendar, right? If you're not already living by a calendar, boom, boom, it's free on your phone. It's free. There's free apps. Like, get on a calendar, start planning the life that you want, start creating and manifesting the life you deserve. And first thing to put on that calendar is that me time once a month, right? We can all agree to doing something for me once a month, right? Me being you, me being me, right? Like, you get it. Okay. And making sure that happens. To hell or high water, you're going to do it. You can tell people, listen, you can die. I'm still going whitewater rafting, right? Like, listen, that's it. That's it, guys. So do it, and don't walk away. Don't step away from what you set out to do for yourself. Next, as a coach, I would be remiss if I didn't say accountability coaching has definitely been something that I think, you can try out. If it's something you've never tried out, I'm happy to do consultations with you and talk to you a little bit about why accountability coaching could be the right program for you. Essentially, the program I sent out in my recent newsletter, and if you missed it, let me know. Put it in the comments and I can get that to you. Absolutely. I'll also put it in the YouTube channel, the show notes, so that you can definitely check out the newsletter and not miss a beat. But essentially what I'm doing is I'm starting an accountability coaching where it's a weekly program where, depending upon what package you choose, I do 3 different packages, and we can speak for like 10-15 minutes a week, just really hammering down on goals and goal execution. Because sometimes, right, with coaching, I have found if things are too spread out, far apart, people will fall off and they'll be like, yeah, Tasha, I'm going to do it. Da, da, da. But it's a lot harder to put things off when you absolutely will be speaking to me every week. And so we have to okay, Tasha, we're going to do these 4 things this week. Okay, we're doing 3 things this week. We're doing, right? And so it really holds you accountable, and it feels good. It feels good to accomplish, right? Because I think some of the hardest things about being a content creator, being an entrepreneur, is the idea that you want to go X space or X speed, and somehow the body or the mind or the life or the bull that stands in the way is not connecting, right? And so you mentally, you're there, but then physically, or you're not using your resources and you're not getting to where you need to go. That's how accountability coaching can help you. So if you have questions about that, if you have thoughts, let me know. I'm going to definitely put them in the notes on the YouTube channel. So if you are like, I want to find out more, go to dressingyourmate.com, click on the YouTube little handle, and then you'll be able to see that. Okay. And then documenting the process. So if you're a fan of Gary Vee, he's always talking about documenting. And it's funny, right? Because the conversation is life is more than a hashtag. So, sometimes it can be overwhelming, right? By having to document and feeling like you have to document your entire life and put it for the gram, put it for Twitter, put it for, right? No, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. You do what you want to do. So I think what I suggest with documenting the process is focus on documenting the things that matter most to you. And I think that you won't resent that along the way, and you won't get sucked into the vortex, right? So for instance, I don't document every moment in my life. Like for my recent birthday that just happened last month, I don't even think I took a picture, right? But that's okay. The event still happened. I still turned the next year, right? So I think that to me, I find where I find moments of documentation, it's doing the things I want to document. So documenting things that I'm passionate about. So anything about feminism, anything about women's rights, being a person of color, things like that. I like to document because I feel like that conversation can never be had enough. Entrepreneurship, those are things I like to document. Outside of this platform, right? I'm also a podcaster, so documenting and working on that content. I feel good about. I love animals. Oh my God, if you know me, you know that my life goal is to literally just be like a farmer of llamas. Like I don't know why I'm obsessed with like llamas, but I find them fascinating. Llamas and alpacas, like fascinating. So I just want to like live my life with fur everywhere near me, like a million dogs, a million cats for my husband because he loves them. And I love them, but they can be a little kid. Our cat, it's a demon. He's complete. I think he's straight from hell. So I'm just like, okay, enough. But documenting things with animals makes me feel good because I can go back and look at, Chandu, look at Baraboo, right? And then my dog will look up at me because he knows that that's like our language, that's like our thing. I don't know what I'm saying to him. Who knows what he thinks I'm saying? Nonetheless, right? So documenting things that you love, documenting things that you're passionate about, but then also documenting the things that you want to hold yourself accountable to has been really helpful. So like I started the Dressing Room Mate book club because I wanted to publicly hold myself accountable for reading at least one book a month. And I do that with my book club, my online book club that you can join, dressingroom8.com. All the details are there. But also, it forces me to what? To document and show to other people like, hey, I read this book. What are you reading? Did you read the book with me? Right? Like, so it can be a helpful tool to hold yourself accountable, whether you work with a coach or not. So documenting is definitely a really good tool to think about for living beyond social media and making sure that you're doing what you set out to do in this world. And then lastly, self-auditing, self-reflection is key. I know that sometimes people get frustrated with it as a content creator because what does that mean? So to self-audit, to self-reflect would be to go back and look at your content, to look at the analytics, to look at the prior videos you're making, to look at how you're executing on what the goals are you had for yourself. And what do people like to say? I don't like to look at myself. Oh, I don't like to. Get over your bullshit. Like if you want to grow and if you want to evolve, then you have to go back and you have to look at the content. You have to look at what people are saying, how people are resonating. You have to get feedback, not because their opinion is more important than yours, but you want to make sure that you have a meeting of the minds when it comes to what you think you're executing and what other people are receiving. So for instance, I said I'm high energy, right? And I love to just be a talker. And so like right now I feel tired, but like, I think generally I'm like, wah! Right? Like, so if I were to do a survey and I were to be like, to ask my audience, like, hey, if you were to describe me in these following words, pick a word, right? And they all were like depressed, sad, wallowing, negative. And I'm like, I think I'm positive. I think I'm upbeat, right? Like then we have a disconnect. What I think I'm doing and what you think I'm doing, two separate things. So that's the importance of making sure that we're self-auditing and that we're also getting feedback. And then you can make a decision. You can make a decision as to essentially, do you want to change? Do you want to change the script? Do you want to change the platform? Do you want to, right? You can start to make changes. So that's a call out to my content creators to think about that and to, because some people also are like, and this is the one that I love. I always hear this at networking events, and then we're like nearly done, guys, because we're at time. I know you got things to do. So this is the phrase. I'm a people person, right? Every time I've heard that from someone, short of me saying it, it's been from like the most negative, the most nastiest, the most like downright downtrodden people I've ever met in my entire life. And I think it's really funny because it's like, it's just proof that they're not spending time looking at themselves and really kind of getting outside of the ego, which is, I know it can be hard. So many things are. We got to get outside the ego and we got to really look at it, right? And really see. If you're a people person, then when people come up to you and you have like that kind of don't talk to me face, maybe you're a people person via the phone. me via radio, via podcasting, but not via in person, because in person you're coming off as, you know. I don't have to say it. So something to think about, right? Just something to think about. And with that wonderful little skit, I think this concludes Life is More Than a Hashtag. Ultimately, what was this program about? It was about learning little tips and tricks to really detach and really make sure that we're present and doing and accomplishing the life that we want IRL. That yes, the internet exists in it, but we've got to be able to do things around, up, and through it. Okay. So if you have any questions, if you have any comments, definitely put them in the comment section here on Periscope, here on Facebook, here on YouTube. And of course, if you, again, don't know who I am and you're like just catching this at the tail end, Natasha Nurse, speaker, coach, and content creator behind Dressing Room 8, coaching and consulting business. You can learn all about the platform at dressingroom8.com. Such a pleasure having a conversation. I'm going to try to work, but I also might just pass out. So we'll see. We'll see, guys. I don't know. It'll be interesting. We shall see. Definitely need some water. And if you guys have not had some water, I have found water to be so healing. So please, guys, well, I live in the desert now, so it's like a must, or I like literally will turn into a scorpion, I think. So drink some water. It provides such healing. And also, I've talked about this in other videos. Deep breaths, guys. Sometimes when we're getting stressed and we're getting overwhelmed, deep breath, it's like a blanket that you always have with you. You always can take in more oxygen and then be like, things aren't that bad. I can do this. Yeah, absolutely. And shout out to Marie Forleo for Everything is Figure Outable. I just picked up her book from the library because I wanted to check that out, and loving the beginning so far. I love her. I think she's so fantastic, and such a great coach, such a great woman in the space of personal development and personal growth. So I have her book actually on my recommendations page. Check it out at dressingroom8.com. So if you want to check it out there. And then of course, when you go to dressingroom8.com, what would I like you to do? A couple of things. Subscribe to the blog so you stay up to date for all blog posts. Make sure you sign up for the monthly newsletter so you don't miss a beat. You don't want to miss my tips and resources and information that you can't get anywhere else other than my brain that I give to you guys. So do it. And then of course, the events page is a really great place to see all my upcoming lives. So if you're like, I like this crazy chick, when's the time she's going to talk about, what's she talking about next, right? Events page, holler at me there, and you'll see all my upcoming lives or in-person events. I'm mostly going to be focusing on doing online events. So definitely, if you also want to collaborate and things like that, you will find my contact information at dressingroom8.com. And it's been a pleasure. And I can't wait to see what the rest of tonight brings. And I hope you all have a wonderful, blessed, prosperous evening. So now it's time to say goodbye, which is always really sad and always complicated because I have 3 devices to do this on, guys. All right. So first, goodbye on Periscope. Woohoo! Goodbye, guys. Good. All righty. So next, YouTube. Bye, y'all. I'll see you soon. And then Facebook. Bye, guys.